Okay, I thought I'd do one more video today, and I thought this one I would do about whether or not you should tell people about whether you cross-dress or not. Now, I am still very secretive about my cross-dressing. As a matter of fact, there's probably 7 or 8 people that have met me both ways. And they have all been people who have met Susan first, with the exception of my neighbors, and then got to meet my male side. Now, 2 of my neighbors do know about my cross-dressing, and they've seen pictures, but they've never met me in person as Susan, which in a way is a shame. Maybe someday they will. But whether or not to tell someone is really a personal decision. Because, first of all, once you tell one person, once one person knows your secret, it's no longer a secret. You no longer have control over it. You no longer know if they've told anyone and who else knows. And once it gets out, it will mushroom and you are no longer in control. So it is something you have to think about and make that decision for yourself. And no one else can tell you you should. I have friends who have told me that I should be proud of who I am and tell people who I am. That's their opinion. For me, I look at it as Susan is part of who I am. She's not all of me. My male self is still a big part of my life. I still need my male side. I don't plan to transition. So in that effect, I really don't think everybody needs to know. I like to go golfing. I talk about golf with my friends who golf. I don't talk about golf to my friends who don't golf. I like certain sports. I talk about sports with my friends who like sports. The friends who don't like sports, I don't talk about sports with them. I look at cross-dressing the same way. If I'm going to cross-dress with those people, then yes, they need to know the truth. But if I'm not going to, they really don't need to know. If I'm not going to show up at work dressed as Susan, do my coworkers really need to know that I cross-dress? If I'm not going to go to family events or reunions or hang out with my family as Susan, does my family really need to know? The answer is no. It doesn't concern them. This is part of who I am. It's something I do for myself. It's not something I do for other people. Now this brings you into the relationship aspect of it. Now I have had girlfriends, and I will admit that I did not tell them I cross-dressed. I came close one time. I told one of them that I liked to play with makeup, and she wanted nothing to do with it. Matter of fact, she wanted me to throw all my makeup away, which I threw some of it away to make her happy. And for a long time, I was operating on the opinion that, if the relationship got serious enough, I would quit dressing. I would quit being Susan. But I've come to realize that I'm not going to quit. One, I don't want to. I enjoy it. But more importantly, I don't think I could quit. I may be able to suppress it and cut back on it. But at some point, I would want to, and I probably would. And even if I didn't, I would be thinking about it. And the more I couldn't do it, the more I would think about it. And that's not right. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to the other person, because what you become is obsessed about something. So I would now say that if you are going to get into a relationship with someone, they need to know, because it does affect them. If you're in a relationship with someone, everything you do in your life affects them in some way or another. If you're cross-dressing in secret and not telling them, and then suddenly people find out, it affects them. So I really think now I'm of the opinion that you need to tell them. Now I am lucky, my current girlfriend I actually met as Susan. So she knew right up front about me, which made it a lot easier. So it really is a personal decision. Some people will tell people right off the bat, hey, I cross-dress, I'm transgender. Some will not tell anyone. What you have to do is find out what's right for you, what's right in your life. Who are the people that need to know? Who are the people that you're comfortable with knowing? Like I said, 2 of my neighbors found out. I've seen no difference in the way they treat me. We still talk outside. We still have a good neighborhood relationship. And they've never brought it up again, which in a way is kind of sad because it would be cool to be able to share this with them or have them meet Susan at some time. And who knows, maybe they will. But the thing is, with them knowing, I really don't know who else in the neighborhood knows. I don't think they would tell anyone. No one else has said anything. But you can never really be sure. So before you tell anyone, think about it. If you are not full-time and out doing this without anyone worrying about what anyone thinks, then you can tell everyone. But if you still want to keep this private, then you really do have to think and be careful who you tell. Because you never know. People may know and just never say anything to you. Because one, they really don't know how to bring it up. You know, I tell people all the time when they say I should tell people, I go, well, it's really not a conversation starter. I don't just walk up to one of my neighbors and go, gee, guess what I did last night? I dressed up as a woman and went out. It really isn't something that you start a conversation with. It's hard to work into a conversation. So on the other side, for people who know, it's hard for them too. Because to just walk up and go, hey, I hear you're a cross-dresser. It's kind of a hard thing to work into a conversation. And there is always the chance that they could be wrong. You never know 100% sure unless you actually saw them transform themselves. I mean, if I'm out somewhere and someone sees me, they could go, yes, it looks like my male self. But then again, there are other people who tend to look similar to other people, and it could be one of them. So to just go up to someone and say, hey, I saw a guy in a dress at a store, and he looked a lot like you. Unless you're 100% sure, most people won't say that. So you never really know. So what I would do is look at the people in your life and ask yourself the simple question, does my dressing affect them in some way? A girlfriend, a wife, it does affect them. Children, it does affect them at some point in their life. So they really should know. Parents, brothers, co-workers, it really doesn't affect them unless you're around them while you're dressed. They really don't need to know unless you want them to. Well, that's my opinion on the subject. So, anyways, I hope it was helpful. And if you feel like you want to, please leave a comment below. Thank you, and have a good day.